Well, g'day all, Peter Clark here, and welcome to this month's market update, where we'll share a little bit about what's happening within the network and the broader industry throughout the month of March. Now, firstly, a little bit of news from the bigger picture of O'Brien Real Estate. Now, last month we talked about the rapid growth of the O'Brien network regionally, and in March we got to enjoy the grand opening of O'Brien Real Estate Me & Sanderson in Wodonga. It is really clear that the team of Me & Sanderson have huge community support, with over 150 people turning out to celebrate their official launch, so congrats to the team at Wodonga for such an amazing launch and opening. So as our followed would know, our strength is in our deep understanding of regional living and our ability to provide regional take on national trends and insights, and provide our views on their relevance in our regional areas. If you've read anything about real estate in the last month, it's likely been headlined by property prices set to crash or interest rates set to rise, and at times a combination of the two, rising interest rates set to drive down property prices. Whilst we're not doubting that some changes will be inevitable, we thought we'd provide you with our own take. So firstly, many of the reports, headlines and attributed quotes that you'll be hearing under those headlines are from the banks themselves, who not surprisingly stand to gain the most from the rate rises. So how is the hype and the hysteria going to pay out in the market? To help find the answers, we feel we need to look beyond the interest rates, and here's some of what we found. One, the Bureau of Statistics' most recent regional migration data shows Melbourne experienced a net loss of over 8,000 people over the March 2021 quarter, slightly down of the 8,500 people who left the city during the December 2020 quarter. So this could be part of the reason we've seen a surge in listings across some of Melbourne's inner suburbs. CoreLogic reported that Melbourne's new listings climbed by 76.7% in February. Both of these points, along with the fastly changing work environments, is driving people out of cities and into regional areas more than ever before. But they're not leaving empty-handed. Since 2019, some suburb property prices have almost doubled in value. So, can we draw comparisons on this to previous markets? Our press is so consumed and fixated on the negative sentiments, it forgets the long-term results. You see, market corrections rarely equal to the preceding market increases. For example, if a market increased by 20% and then retracts by 5%, it is still increased by 15%. It's basic maths. So at the time, what some will have you believe is a crash, to others with the macro lens is simply a correction on the path to continued growth. So more people are moving to the regions. But how will that save us from a crash in property values? Well, there are some other factors at play. National housing lot sales are expected to fall by 43% this year. That's the equivalent of 32,000 fewer sales, as supply constraints bite in Sydney and as demand for new housing in Melbourne resets after record volumes of sales occurred in 2021, according to a leading greenfield housing market analyst, Colin Keane. The latest Urban Development Institute of Australia report shows that Melbourne drove the unprecedented level of activity in greenfield markets in 2021, recording a massive 125% increase in lot sales. That's 33,700, totaling 44% of the total national market, while prices rose by 3%. Across Baw Baw, given regional affordability, particularly to first home owners with the current government incentives on offer, we've seen significant increases in the volume of land sales and subsequent price increases also. And it's not just the scarcity of land that we're facing. Home renovators are being urged to brace for their projects being delayed by up to 2 years and costs blowing out by at least 20% as the strong demand for chronic shortage of skilled labour and materials intensifies. You see, the price of construction rose by 7.1% in 2021 and is expected to rise another 4.5% in 2022. In addition to this, we've seen further increases due to the supply issues in key construction materials such as timber, steel and plaster, whilst important components have been far more challenging to obtain. The Director of Research at CoreLogic, Mr. Tim Lawless, believes this doesn't look like a short-term spike. The surge in construction costs is due to the amount of construction activity that's been approved at the time when we can't import more skilled labour and are facing significant supply chain disruptions. According to Mirvac Chief Executive Susan Lloyd-Hurwitz, it's a surge in single-person households and the return of migration-driven population growth that will leave the country with a 163,400 shortfall of dwellings by 2032. So we've got people leaving the city, we've got a scarcity in land and availability, and construction costs are climbing. Not quite at the rate of diesel, but they're still climbing. If you add to this the challenges faced in the rental market, it's hard to see people losing much value on their properties in regional markets, where pricing has and continues to be affordable. So next month, provided the data is available, we'll give you a snapshot on how Q1 of 2022 has played out in comparison to 2021 and provide some insight into where the local market might be going. That's all from me. Until I see you next month and the days get a little bit shorter and the weather a little bit colder, we hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you all again soon.